Salon, and for Wakabot, the program Good Morning Salon, they continue. They come to you from the Society for Radio Democracy 98.1 FM. Remember, say inside this edition of the program, you listen away from with different partner radio station them, and you get this edition from Radio Shalom 89.5 na Koinadugu and Falaba District on Radio Manline 88.5, Radio 101.3 na Pujon District, Radio Kolente 90.0 na Cambia, Radio Mwa 105.5 na Kailau, Vopade Radio na Watalo, Voice of Sando na Kono District, Voice of Karine na Kamakwe on 98.0, Voice of Maso na Pujon District, and also on Jange Radio 99.3 FM na Loa Wabont District. The program na Good Morning Salon. Inside the program, we will start for look some message them we owner don't send so far, and now we go on our Facebook page and take some message them. This first part of the video come out from Michael. They say kudos to the intelligence sector for a prompt response. But this way we not hear again about this. We don't see outside stakeholder they compromise on some of important issue them. This gets for doing line with the interview where we do with the Minister of Information and Civic Education. Also I talk on issues that we get for say the engage for container them we get for do with bomb and other bomb material them. Again inside the program Good Morning Salon with the look more messages, and this one from Abubakar Siddiq Darame. They say not the Lebanese not the problem, but the issue the country just free and enforcement na problem. The business wise right now na salon man prefer white collar job even though salary is small. Another message we I will take inside this edition of the program, they say we really need to put more security measures in place, even though these containers we are able not to succeed, but again how are we sure we are safe in this country? The program Good Morning Salon they continue and they look at more message them inside the program. This one say how the people are able to transport such critical items come inside the country, even though they catch them, but that is still not impressive. They really should take action, especially on those who are involved. More message inside the program Good Morning Salon, and this other message here we they look at they talk about still on the issue of the security sector. They say, I want to commend the security sector for that intelligence, but I want to recommend to the government to ensure that all those who are committing dangerous crimes against the state, if they are found guilty, should spend their jail terms in foreign countries to prevent their freedom from future governments that may want to release them through connection. They come out from Edward San, our Facebook page. This other message here we take, they say only FFT but security threat, they make investors know they come inside the country. This should stop. A lot attempt has been made so far. We will continue to look at more message inside this edition of the program Good Morning Salon, and again they take from my Facebook page. Also now inside this particular edition of the program Good Morning Salon, I go hand over Una to my colleague Musa Kamara. We go take more messages. Musa.
Yes, of course, more messages them inside the program, but the producer the signal we for look at more issues inside the program Good Morning Salon. We'll go inside the National Coordinator for Budget Advocacy Network Ban Abubakar Kamaras don't call on government for give more strength to transparency and accountability now the loan system through the loan agreement and the loan laws of 2011 reverse within the do now the country. He explained more to me inside this interview. The program is still listening to now Good Morning Salon, where they come to you from the Society for Radio Democracy 98.1 FM. The technical team try for get that in Saturday. We say the coordinator for Budget Advocacy Network Ban Abubakar Kama talk about the meeting we then get for sake of the drafts for the draft clause for improved transparency and accountability on public debt management na the country. Well, we join Studio 1 and get the interview where I get Bakar Kamara, Coordinator Budget Advocacy Network BAN. The program Good Morning Salon, they continue as we wait for the insert. We continue for look at messages inside the program. Well, we don't get that insert today. We go and listen the interview.
Firstly, we do a study where we find out, say, in as much as actually they produce quite a number of information on public debt, but there are still gaps we need to be addressed. And we notice, say, some of them gaps and they require legal reform. So that study clearly identify a lot of areas that will require legal reform. And quite recently, we see with support from the African Development Bank, where the government was allowed to receive money for do a whole restructuring of the public debt management in a bid for strengthening it, make it transparent and make it accountable. And one of the things in that support now for review the 2011 Public Debt Management Act. So based on what we don't do, we decide for come together and identify clauses them where they really improve budget, public debt transparency and accountability in Salon. So in identifying a clause there, we not only do one within Salon, we also peer review all organizations in Kenya, Tanzania and Zimbabwe. So the meeting today we will get now for also can present a clause there with the gear towards improving public debt transparency for let we also get stakeholder input in it.
What is some of them clause here? So now the 2011 Public Finance Management Act we una need for change or add or minus.
So the overall suggestions include amending some of the sections them, and we also propose up to 5 new sections them where we feel say for be included. For example, the aspect where they talk about reporting to Parliament, it be get a clause in the current act. But the clause they have for say 3 months after the end of the year, Minister of Finance for furnish Parliament. And the proposal what we don't propose now is we don't need that word furnish. We they suggest say the Minister of Finance for table the debt report to Parliament, and Parliament upon receiving that debt report day for also debate that debt report day and publish the outcome of the report day. The reason why that's important is Parliament are representative of the people of Sierra Leone. So which means say by scrutinizing public debt, it means that the people then they don't scrutinize the public debt. So then one aspect we propose. The other aspect is about publishing the terms and conditions of a loan. The act currently say therefore publisher by government gazette, and if we say government gazette not be enough, so we don't propose a clause with the time for ensure say they also post on the Minister of Finance website. We also get issues there around publishing of the various report and documents them. We don't propose that not only for publisher but for the Minister of Finance Act. We also get a lot of new clause section work out. For example, we get one with about debt ceiling. You know, the current act not say nothing about debt ceiling, and debt ceiling basically na the amount beyond which government of a borrow in a particular year. We not say Minister of Finance can discuss that with IMF, but that information not to the public. So we want now let the act reinforce that for ensure say first of all Minister of Finance in consultation with Parliament and Cabinet for set a criteria on debt ceiling, and that ceiling therefore be approved by Cabinet and Minister of Finance, and then therefore publishing a government website.
How important transparency and accountability in debt management?
It's very, 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 very important for a couple of reasons. Number one, the money where government they go take now the people the money, and if they go take on the behalf of the people of Salon, it means say definitely that people of Salon first of all are aware for a couple of reasons. For example, we know say if we get lack of transparency about how debt they again it will get negative implication on revenue, because money will go for payback. It will even get negative implication on future debt, and in fact the overall execution of a budget. Hence it will affect the development program then. Of course we don't see if we get a loan we're not transparent, where they in the darkness, absolutely also an insight for corruption, for stripes. I mean, one of the things we come out mainly at this meeting again is the aspect of how do we ensure that citizens are aware right through the debt process, before the start of the acquisition of debt, to the acquisition of debt, to reporting, and how Parliament they take actions on the report Minister of Finance submit to them.
Whose medium you think say them for use for make the public aware if in a situation governments they for represents the wish and aspiration of the people anything they do them for doing in the interest of the people why they need for come back and tell the public how they do take dates, the process for take dates and how the date they go, instead of them do them on behalf of the people.
No, now the people give government responsibility for do. And let me say because I give responsibility for the not for can report to me. In fact, they all the people for report to them on how they use the responsibility we then give to them. And one of the most accepted way of making document published now are the internet, now our website and Ministry of Finance website. Now that make in all of the clauses them who don't look into, mind you, this new revision would propose, it get 10 sections, it get 8 amendments, they get 12 new clauses and who don't propose, but all in a gear towards improving transparency and accountability.
How you can describe transparency and accountability in debt management Nasalo as it is?
It has been improving, but there are a lot of gaps in terms of ensuring that there is transparency and there is accountability. One of the things we noticed from the study we do, Ministry of Finance, they do a lot of good practices when that they act. So we don't try to propose those good practices and they follow factor them into the act. For example, we see in the annual statement of accounts, they get details of information we then present in terms of the various loans they will get.
With that, now the coordinator for the Budget Advocacy Network Ban, Abubakar Kamar, they talked to me inside an interview for SECA, the stakeholder meeting. We then the all for SECA close them. We then wish for change or want for change. Now the 2011 Public Debt Management Act for give strength to transparency and accountability in debt management. The program Good Morning Salon they continue. They go online and join Emmanuel Safa Abdullai as he done 100 days in office. Within some of the things them we don't achieve so far and within the way forward for sports development in the country as the executive director for the National Sport Authority NSA. Good morning, Safa, and welcome to the program Good Morning Salon.
Good morning, and thank you very much for hosting.
Because 100 days in office, and we look back to within Emmanuel Safa Abdullai don't do within team as the executive director for the National Sport Authority NSA, and within the future holds for sport under your leadership. But before we look at the future, let's look at how we don't Alex so far 100 days back.
Well, thank you. I mean, it has been a very long journey in this 100 days because when I go to the National Sport Authority, I meet quite a lot of challenges in the sector. So firstly, forget the team at the NSA for understand that we get for deliver on sports. You know, people know for they go work 10 o'clock, they go home at 2 o'clock. Secondly, the first 1 week while going to office, there were electricity problems and I realized that we not even get a standby generator. So we get to talk to NPPA for letting do the ways that for buy a generator on the spot. So we bought 100 kVA generator in the office so that we were able for do the work. But importantly, one of the things that we don't decide for doing for roll out the National Sports Authority Act, we create the National Sports Authority. So one, we don't try to do regulations. We don't do the Sports Development Fund regulation, which is very important. Not so often we get for the one for go to government for giving money. We need for create we own the Sport Development Foundation fund when I saw the act. We also then develop the anti-doping, so people really take drugs in sports for beginning to raise awareness and begin for testing in the country. Then we also develop a regulation on the CAS, Court of Arbitration in sports. Most of the sporting associations quickly don't go court, they don't get injunction. Now we create an alternative avenue when after the law we develop. We also decide we get for do a lot of connections with international bodies. We don't get meetings with Chinese embassy and a couple of embassies, including Saudi Arabian embassy, we don't promise and we're able for help for build infrastructure, sporting infrastructure, not just artificial talk when for football, but the other sporting disciplines that we will talk about. We also don't get quite a number of volunteers in the office. 10 law students who advertise, we apply, who don't recruit, and they help we do field research and stuff. And one of the most important things we do last week, we get a retreat with the Ministry of Sports. For the first time we create the NSA, we come together with the Ministry of Sports and say, look, we're one body under the Ministry of Sports, even though the National Sports Authority just created independently for the work. We enhance collaboration and cooperation to ensure that we deliver on the mandate of the minister to the president, because at the end we all do work on. So in this 100 days, there's quite a lot. We don't get Leone athletes that represent me Azerbaijan, win at the gymnastics, then win over 20 gold medals in the gymnastics. We also don't get Leone participate in the World Cup elimination. We win one game and we draw one game. We don't cut down on the delegation list when at the mandate of government for reduce the wastages. We also get single leg amputees and go Egypt. They don't go Egypt. Then go represent Sierra Leone. They win the best fair play competition. So what you will try to do now to say, look, sports na sports, not just football. Every other discipline is important. And the government will support serious associations where they play local competition. You know, we just wake up and say, I want to go play international competition. When you know they train, you know they play local competition. We also don't inspect the national stadium where they underway on the renovation. We don't urge the Chinese then for ensure that they finish them. We don't negotiate with the Chinese in detail now for fixed seats, because in the initial contract they're not in that specific. Now the Chinese have agreed that they will fix seats on the stadium and then we'll finish them within the time frame when necessary.
Okay, you don't talk about what you don't achieve so far with the team as the executive director for the National Sport Authority. Take me through what are the plans them as we round up the program now.
The plans are now for build for extensive infrastructure on sport, on all of the sporting disciplines then. And secondly, to ensure that sport is played locally and the national sporting associations, they are transparent, they are democratic, and they are accountable. We also want to ensure that we devolve sports, we devolve the NSA in sports in the district and regional headquarters, and we want to use sports for transform the lives of young people then.
Okay, thank you very much. We go get more of that update with you, Dr. Emmanuel Safa Abdullai, the Executive Director, National Sport Authority, being the key highlight of the 100 days in office. More on that inside we subsequent programs them in coming days and hours them. The program Good Morning Saloon we bring and come to you. Musa Kaman, your name.
And it's up to you, Kalon.
Well, this edition go left for today. We want to apologize to listeners and viewers of Radio Democracy. Initially, we announced we go continue for look at bar association the issues, but due to technical problem beyond control, we not able to get with studio guests them now the studio and we propose guests them rather now the studio. But all the same, the program Good Morning Saloon go end today, Monday, July 15. We bring you this edition. Musa Kaman, I'm your name.
And it's up to you, Kalon.